Alright, we're going to start over because for some reason my audio wasn't working. I'll edit that beginning part out. But yeah, this is to save everybody some frustration on putting the Android radios that use the 16-pin connector into a 5th generation Toyota Camry with the JBL amplifier. It has not been an easy task, let me tell you. There's none of the harnesses that I've purchased have worked. I just went and did it myself and figured it out. So I'm going to share that with you guys and hopefully save everybody a little frustration down the road. Like I said, it hasn't been easy. So let's get into it. You cannot purchase this harness, at least to my knowledge, anywhere. Nobody makes it. I made it myself. What I did was I purchased the 16-pin radio connector, the 20-pin JBL connector, and the, I don't know how many pins this is, but the steering wheel control connector separately, and then I wired them all together. I soldered and heat shrunk my connections. You can use butt splices. I don't recommend just wrapping and taping, but you do you. Here's what I came up with. So coming out of the 20 pin on the car, this is what goes to the JBL amplifier. We're going to look at the back side. So my wire colors are going to be different than yours, but the way that these pins start is where this yellow wire is, upper left, is going to be pin 1. It goes 1 through 10 and it goes this way, and then it goes 11 through 20 on the bottom and it goes this way. Let's we can zoom in a little bit. Alright, so your yellow is going to connect to your yellow on the Android connector. That's going to be your battery. The red is also going to connect to the red. That's going to be your accessory or your switched connection that goes in. Black is going to be your ground, but you're going to need 2 connections going to that ground. Your ground is going to be pin 20. That's your power ground going to your radio. It'll be in the stock position on the 16-pin connector. But you're going to need to splice in steering wheel controls. Your steering wheel control pinouts are going to be, your ground wire is going to be first, this is pins, I believe, 6, 7, and 8. It's going to be ground, then button 1 or button 2 or key 1 and key 2. That's how those connect in. Those are also going in right to the labeled connectors on here. Now I removed some of the unused wires. I just don't want extra wires dangling. I did that from both these connectors. This one only came with 3. But you don't need the extra wires. You can leave them in there if you want to. It doesn't really matter one way or the other. But the secret to getting this working is to use the audio output harness. The Camry radios and the JBL, it just uses a stereo signal going to the amplifier. That stereo signal going out is just left, right, and ground. When you use the audio wires that normally come out of this connector here, each channel has its own ground and they're not a common ground. You can probably tie them together, but you're still feeding an amplified signal into an amplifier. You want a line level signal. That gives you much cleaner audio. The levels are much more appropriate for what the system, how the system was designed. So you're going to use this connector. And what I did was these wires here, the radio comes with 2 USB connectors. I'm only using 1. So I took the second USB connector, I stripped the jacketing off, I took the wires, and they're the same pins as this connector. So I removed the RCAs that come with it. And I'll show you. I have them in this bag here. These are all my extra wires. But these are the RCAs that were originally coming out of that, and that's the line audio out. And they had the same pins as the USB connectors or connections did. So what I did was I took the wires out of the USB, I removed these line outs, and I wired those in here. Yeah, they're not shielded. I mean, it'd be better if they were. You could leave them, inside the USB line, so there's a little bit of shielding. But I don't know. I guess you could tie the ground into the common line, which this is the green line. The green line is audio ground. The red is right, and the white is the left. That's the way I wired it up. But I'm taking those out of this connector here, and I'm also taking this amp trigger line, amp control. You cannot use the antenna, the power automatic antenna, to power the amplifier. If you do that, it'll only work when the radio is on. It won't work when any of the Android functions are on. So that's pretty important. But the secret is using these 3 wires coming out of the auxiliary connector for the audio out, and then I run those into these wires here. Let me get these out of the way here so you can see a little better. So this is going to be 8 and 9 and 18 and 19. So I'm tying 9 and 19 together and 8 and 18 together, and that's going to be the front and rears. So we don't have, at least on my radio, it doesn't have a front and rear line level output, so I'm just tying them together. You lose balance control, but to me it doesn't really matter. I never used balance control anyways. If you like balance control, you're going to have to come up with some other function, but I tied those together for the front and rear line level inputs. And then there's an audio ground, which is, let's see, this would be 20, 19, 18. In pin 16 is the ground for the line level audio. So that goes into the green wire, which is, comes out of this connector. So the way that these go is all 3 of them are on the top. They're on the top. Actually, I'm sorry, they're on the bottom. If you're looking at where the connection tab is here, they're on the bottom. They'll be on the bottom right side, but it goes audio ground, left, then right in these 3 pins. And to remove these pins, you take an X-Acto knife, and there's like a little plastic tab right here. You just lightly pry up the tab, and the wires will just pull right out. There's just like a little locking detent on there. It's pretty easy to figure out. But that is the secret to making a non-CAN system Camry work flawlessly with an Android radio. You can add all the extra features in if you want. To me, I don't really need them. I just wanted hands-free phone and the nav to work off my Android phone. I have a USB charger already in the car, so I only need the one USB port coming out. But I fought with this for a while. This was a headache. Like I said, I can't find a harness that worked. If I bypassed the factory amp, it worked great, but it sounded like crap. So I don't want to get into changing. This is just my daily driver. I don't want to get into changing speakers and adding amps or any of that. I just want the thing to go in and work like it should. If you don't have the factory JBL amp, the stock harness that comes with the radio will work just fine for your system. But if you do have the factory JBL and you have those like tweeters in the dashboard, you're going to want to do this because it's going to sound exponentially better. So I hope this can help some people out. The wiring, like I said, is pretty straightforward and simple. The only part that was a challenge was getting the audio output and not having to, hack into the wires or recrimp things. And the secret is to use the auxiliary, the second USB port, to steal the wires out of that and add them into this connector. And that allows you to get the signals going back into the 20 pin, which goes to the amp, and everything will work. I do have a little bit of slight alternator hum. I don't really know if it's necessarily related to this configuration or not. I might just have to add some power line filters onto these 2 lines here. It's pretty slight. It doesn't seem to bother me for now, but down the road that might be something that I have to add in. But this is the solution. This is how you make it work. Metro, all you audio cable companies, feel free to steal my design so you can save some people some trouble. Quick video, not a whole lot in depth. Like I said, this is an off topic, not typically what I do, but I was frustrated. Hopefully it'll save you guys some time. Alright, have a good one.